Hi, let's talk about authenticity. First, do you consider yourself to be authentic? And how often can you be authentic? And what are some of the things that could or should change so that you could be more authentic in life? When I look at this subject, I reflect on my life a lot because, as I recall, ever since I was a little kid, and I'm not that old yet, I haven't grew up that much, but I see myself change a lot. And I've been wearing a mask my whole life around my relatives, around my parents, around people that were close to me because I was just afraid of many things. So it's like always afraid of hurting others, afraid of being wrong, afraid of getting in any conflict situations. So I just tried to adjust and please everyone. And I became a massive people pleaser. And so in that process, in a way, I lost my own voice. In a way, I lived in the surroundings where I could not be myself. And if anything I said, it was kind of like wrong, bad, guilty. Or if I expressed things I wanted, I would always get the opposite. So I've learned that, well, my opinion doesn't really matter. And whatever I think, no one really wants to hear it. And I lived like that for like about, I don't know, 18, 20 years or so. And just recently, in the last year, I've been changing a whole lot to the point where I'm taking off all my masks. And even when it hurts, I try to share the truth. And even when I feel scared of hurting others, I try to tell how it is. I try to say how I feel, what I think. And I'll leave that option of, hey, if you feel bad about what I say, it is your problem, not mine. And that is the hardest thing I had to accept, that I don't have to fix everything. I don't have to be perfect, but I have to work on myself to allow myself to be who I want to be, how I feel like I want to be, and stand that ground and not try to bend for everyone. That was like the hardest part. And I'm still working at it. Like, I'm not perfect. This is an everyday work. I still catch myself like, oh, no, gotta slow down, gotta think about it. Should I say, should I not say? But I find more and more like circumstances around me where I can just really allow myself to say things, even if I know it might hurt others. So with all that, I wonder, like, it's all over the place, but I guess the only thing I can talk about is myself, me, my experience, what I've been through, because this is the only thing I can share. Others, like, yeah, I work with people. I can share some of their stories, but it should be for them to talk about those things. I'm not an expert or on anything, not at all. I'm just a curious person who's been going through a lot, like everyone else. And I've seen myself grow, I've seen myself change, and I like the results. So, yeah. So if you want to share your experience in the comments, go ahead, and I'll try not to feel too bad about taking my time to talk about this whole subject, because one thing was like, it's been a while since I've made videos. So I'm like, should I fit in the time frame, or should I just talk about whatever I want, or however long I want, and just kind of still trying to juggle. Anyway, with it all, the biggest changes in my life recently was that I got really tired of lying to my relatives. It's like I always had to tell stories of, I'm fine, everything's perfect, I can handle it all. My family, in their own perspective, they want what's best for me. And I accepted that. I try to see it that way. And of course, even if I would try to explain it, like, it started really early in the days where we can go to the store and my parents would be like, hey, what would you like? And I showed, like, I want this thing, like, whether it's a candy or a clove or something. If they ask me, I'm going to share my opinion. And then they would get exactly the opposite. Really, with my grandma still, like, the other day she was over at my house and she brought me little, pies, and she asked, like, hey, which ones are your favorite? I'm like, well, I like the ones with the potatoes. She's like, okay, I'll make the meaty ones. I'm like, thanks. Like, I'm just going with it. I'm accepting it. But, to be able to, like, say things how it is and finally share, like, hey, you've been ignoring what I'm telling you, and I wonder why. Like being curious and being able to ask those questions and allowing yourself to be vulnerable. That is probably the hardest part. Because my whole life I've been, wearing a mask to protect myself, and I've taught myself to be a bit more masculine as a person, like, I'm a girl. But at the same time, I've been in that fight or flight mode since forever, always trying to protect myself and everything else. So I wouldn't allow myself to wear any prettier girl clothes or anything like that. And now, exploring myself, exploring things I want, becoming more feminine, I'm allowing myself to be vulnerable. I'm allowing myself to get hurt. And if I feel those things, I will have to confront it, but I will no longer try to hide that much and share like, hey, everything's fine, the world is perfect. And I'll just try to smile while deep inside I'm dying, kind of thing. So I'm learning to express myself. I'm learning to ask for help when it's super difficult. Like just recently, like a lot of the ups and downs in life, the American roller coaster, so to speak. But being able to find people that you're somewhat comfortable with, that you can trust at some point, and open up about yourself. That was like one of the harder parts as well. But yeah, for me, becoming vulnerable, this is like number one thing. Saying how it is and looking at the things I want, trying to listen to my heart. And this whole authenticity goes in many ways. Our actions, our words, and even then, our words in the end don't matter that much as our actions. Because you can have anyone in your space. And I've noticed this so much in my life, and I've been trying to pay attention more and more recently. Anyone around you, they can talk a lot. They can be like lighthearted, and they can say the sweetest words, and yet behind your back, they will stab you. They can be very nice and kind and loving, and yet their actions will not match their words. Like they will just do things in the opposite way. And then you have people that might hate you. You have people that might make fun of you. And yet in their actions, they will not do anything to hurt you, except just speak. But those are words. And, yeah, it hurts. Maybe some of us take it deep inside. I know I do. But there's a part where, okay, you listen to what they say, you hear that, but watch their actions. In the end of the day, when everything is said and done, can you look at the actions? And that's like the most important part. And that's where like, the last year I've been trying to walk the talk, so to speak. Been trying it my whole life, but recently everything I do, I'm just like trying to stand behind my word and like, look, I know that with my family and others, my words never mattered. No matter what I would say, it would not change anything. No matter how many things, like whether I would praise someone, whether I would like try to explain things or just be myself or say sorry, it never meant a thing in a way. Of course it did at some level. But with my actions, like trying to see like, okay, what is it that I can do for others? Or am I getting that same thing? You might have a lover, right? Or you might have someone you like. And you connect and you have this nice, wonderful talk. And you're open with each other. You might laugh. You might argue. You might have some things. But at the end of the day, do they check on your phone? Like, hey, are you home yet? Are you doing okay? Like those little things. You can tease each other about, hey, maybe one of you is jealous, and you tease each other about like, well, you're gonna have like some time with your coworker or whatever, so you just have those little things. Great. But when you get together, is that person like loyal to you? Is that person caring and everything else? So like all those details, they matter. And, authenticity goes in like a lot of ways in how we talk, how we act. But in my life, I noticed that it's been more of learning to listen to my heart. And it's hard because one thing is hearing it, the other part is, okay, I'm going to actually take action. And while everyone else around me might say no, while everyone else might disagree and say it's not your thing, like recently, or like since May in 2022, I was like, okay, I'm gonna try learning massages. A lot of people on YouTube like are like, Akvila, you're not supposed to charge money for like doing sessions and stuff. I'm like, fine then, like I'll find a job. So like I found something else now, and like I don't make videos that much, but I found something I love. It was like the biggest thing for me was, okay, this is something I'm interested in somewhat. It's a new experience. And Yumeho therapy and massages have changed my life. Like literally, I used to have scoliosis, a bit of lordosis. I had a lot of, not that many issues, but I know I had issues. And that was all fixed in about 2 months. And I was like, whoa, I feel like a whole different person after every single time I go there, like once a week, just 1 hour, and my whole body, my whole life changed, and like massively. And I got really interested. Like I want to learn that technique to help others, because doing sessions and like, where we clear entities, where we talk about past lives, where we do whatever kind of work, I like to see people win. I love that. I love to see them change, get rid of their problems, them being happy. That's like the biggest reward I can get. Like seeing someone else succeed and knowing that I might have been a part of it. Like I really enjoy that. But with sessions and working with people in that way, psychologically, spiritually, emotionally, a person really needs to want to change themselves. It's not me coming in saying, I will fix your problems for you, here's some money, right? And this is how much I will charge and I will fix your stuff. Like, it doesn't work like that. Like, maybe I can clear some things for you, but it's temporary. It's going to come back. If a person doesn't take any initiative and does not want to change themselves, well, whatever I do will not do anything for them. Except maybe in a few years, something I say might be like a seed that in a long time, eventually is going to click. And they might have a little cognition and they might start taking action, or it's just going to be like one sentence that starts making an impact in their life after 5 or 10 years, who knows? But like waiting for them to get results, wanting to see them win and knowing that they're not going to take action because they're too much in their comfort zone and they're not going to do anything. That was like the hardest part of like doing sessions, and I still work at it. I'm changing my ways, but after learning massages and like learning techniques, and I'm still studying, but it's like, whoa, I can work on a physical body and I can see a person come in like, where they have scoliosis, whether they have back pain or leg aches, or, they have stomach issues. I'm learning that, my hands can feel a lot of things. And it's like not just seeing things anymore, I'm feeling it, and I can actually manipulate the body to help a person. So I can do like half of the work. Again, same law is here as well. Like a person wants, or like a person needs to change themselves and then needs to want it. Otherwise, I'm just going to do something and they're going to come back to the same issue again if they were not changing. So I can see results here faster. But at the same time, I'm meeting more and more people who are like-minded, who are into like learning the self-love, learning to nurture themselves, learning to explore life a little bit. And this is like the biggest thing. Like, even when everyone else might say no, and while at some point they might be right, you have to listen to your own heart. And even if everyone else is saying no, it's impossible, you are doing what you want to do, and you believe in the impossible. Because what if? You can live for like 50, 60 years and look back and then regret not taking that decision. Or you can do it and you can succeed or fail, but you would at least have done something about it. And for me, it's learning like, okay, take off the mask. Recently learning to take off the mask and just, you know what? I don't have to tell the world about everything I know. I don't have to talk about entities. I don't have to talk about spiritual stuff that much. I don't have to talk about conspiracy theories and everything else. Doesn't matter. But I want to be me. I don't want to hide myself that much anymore. I want to say whatever I want to say if I feel like it, and be myself. And say that, hey, I don't want to talk about certain subjects if I'm not feeling comfortable. I'm not going to be into that people-pleasing mode anymore. Not as much. I'm working on it. It's still a thing, but, like learning to, hey, that day I need to rest. That day I need time for myself. That day I need to work. I don't have to kind of work my ass off and put myself as a mat for others. And those are like the difficult parts. So self-love, listening to your own heart, becoming vulnerable, because that's where, you know, the deepest parts, the ones that are most important to you, the ones you're trying to protect the most, are the ones you're also would possibly need to show to others, you know? And for me, it's like, yeah, I'm a bit nuts in a way of, you know, spiritual stuff, seeing things, feeling things, maybe a bit more than others. And I want to talk about it. And a lot of times I'm just holding my tongue back. I'm like, okay, just smile and wave, Skipper, you know? So yeah, so there's that in my life. But learning to be authentic and doing more of that is important. And at the same time, it is important to not overdo it. Like finding the balance, because sometimes people who are too much out there, it's gonna be overwhelming. So, you know, you find whatever is the most comfortable thing for you. And that goes into the part of, you know, being authentic. For me, I will say what I want to say. And my opinion is very subjective. It is true for me about what I believe in and about currently. And that opinion can change any second, because I might experience things differently. I'm like, oh, well, that makes sense. And I might change my opinion. And having that flexibility of being right and wrong and accepting yourself, accepting your failures, knowing things you can do and knowing things you cannot do. For example, like making videos on YouTube and everything else, I know that there are a lot of things I can do myself, but I also know that there are plenty of things I am not good at. And while I might spend time learning those things, at the same time, I can pay someone to do it for me because they're way much better at it. And kudos to them, and I will respect them, and they'll do it for me, and I'll be really happy about it, because sometimes they're really lazy. Or, you know, like, hey, I would by no way, like, in no means I would do anything like them. Not even close. So accepting those facts and like, hey, you know, like finding something you're good at, exploring first, exploring life, exploring yourself to understand what is it that you like and don't like. And then, you know, leaning onto those things that you're stronger at or something that makes you happier. Exploration. Like literally. I had no idea that massages could be good. I mean, I've seen a few movies. I've heard about them. I've never tried in my entire life. And I was thinking like, no, it's probably something sexual. I ain't doing it my whole life. I'm not letting anyone else touch me. It's uncomfortable. I don't want anyone's hands on me. No, go away. And then I had injured my back. And I'm like, help, someone, medic. So yeah, I found help and it changed my life, but I had to get out of my comfort zone. I had to put myself out there. And maybe that is something that you might need to do, to find something that you love and then practice, just go at it, explore, and see if that makes you happy. So anyway, talking all over the place, but hopefully, you know, you can share your experience about authenticity, what it means to you, or some of the things you do to be more authentic, or some of the things that should change in your life so that you could be more of that if you want to be that. Anyway, thank you for watching, and I'll see you next time. Bye-bye.